As they ventured onto the grounds, the air seemed thicker, almost suffocating. The fog enveloped the corroded structures as if they were guardians of something dark. Claire was the first to notice the strange reflections in the shards of mirrors, scattered on the ground. As the group walked, she saw something that made her heart stop. The face of Crimson Jack, deformed and grinning grotesquely, lurking in the reflections. His amber eyes seemed to burn like live embers, following her every movement. In other fragments, she glimpsed skeletal hands reaching out towards her and figures dancing in silence, as if mocking her presence. One reflection in particular, in a larger and less cracked mirror, showed Jack standing behind her, although when she turned, there was nothing there. It wasn't the group's reflection, it was Jack, watching with his bright amber eyes and his wide, inhuman smile. "This isn't real," said Mia, trying to stay calm. But then they heard the sound of an echoing laughter. The sound seemed to come from all directions, penetrating their minds and sending shivers down their spines. A red balloon floated towards them, and when it popped, it left behind a cracked mask. "He knows we're here," murmured Ethan, his face pale. As they explored the inside of the circus, Jack began to play with their minds. For Alex, he brought visions of a past accident that Alex blamed himself for not preventing. A fateful day when he was behind the wheel during a storm. The road was wet and slippery, and despite his instincts, he lost control of the car. The accident not only left physical scars on his best friend, but also shattered Alex's confidence in himself. He relived, in agonizing detail, the sound of tires skidding, the desperate screams, and the empty stare of his friend being taken to the ambulance. That moment had haunted him silently ever since, and Jack made sure to replay it in an even more visceral version, where Alex saw his reflection in the rearview mirror with Crimson Jack's malevolent smile. Mia, the skeptic, found herself in a room surrounded by mirrors, but in each one, her reflection was distorted. She was presented with different versions of herself, one childish and scared, another dark and cruel. The versions mocked her, accusing her of using her disbelief as a mask to hide her own insecurities and fear of facing the truth. The whispers of the reflections echoed in her mind, forcing her to confront the void she always pretended didn't exist. For Ethan, the scene was one of abandonment. He walked through an infinite library, but each book he opened was empty. The metaphor was clear, the fear of being irrelevant, that all his knowledge and curiosity had no real value. The shadows mocked his intelligence, turning it into something useless in the face of horror. Claire, on the other hand, saw the face of her younger sister. It was a memory she tried to suppress at all costs. The day she lost her sister in a domestic accident. She always blamed herself for not getting there in time to save her, and Jack brought this guilt to the surface with cruel detail. In every corner she looked, she saw the image of her sister calling out to her, accusing her of negligence. Do you believe that evil can be defeated by facing our own fears? What if that abandoned circus wasn't just a forgotten place, but a portal to something much darker? Today, you will meet Crimson Jack, the clown who turns nightmares into reality. Imagine a cold night in a desolate city where an abandoned circus has kept secrets for decades. Whispers of a deadly fire and disappearances haunt generations. Now, strange events bring to light an ancient legend. Crimson Jack, the clown who plays with human fear as if it were a toy. But beware, because in this show the ticket might cost more than you imagine, perhaps even your soul. Do you think you could survive the cursed circus? Stay until the end and find out if you are brave enough. On an autumn night, when dry leaves danced to the sound of the icy wind, the small town of Hollow Creek seemed even more desolate. The residents avoided talking about the abandoned circus on the outskirts, but among the elders, whispers of the night of the fire still echoed in the dark corners of the taverns. They said the circus was a cursed place, a stronghold of darkness and suffering, where laughter mixed with muffled screams on performance nights. The residents whispered stories of inexplicable disappearances of children after visiting the site, and of hooded figures arriving at midnight carrying strange artifacts. Crimson Jack, the main clown, was not just an artist. Some believed he made dark pacts, using the applause and fears of the audience to feed an evil force that resided in the heart of the circus. On the night of the fire, they reported seeing shadows dancing in the flames, as if something was being released. Jack was an eccentric and hypnotic figure. During the performances, he seemed to read the minds of the audience, provoking laughter and chills in equal measure. However, the children who stared at him for too long reported that his eyes were like living flames, and his smile something that did not belong to the world of the living. On the night of the fire, when the circus was consumed by uncontrollable flames, Jack disappeared without a trace, or so they thought. Decades later, the abandoned circus was just a carcass corroded by time, enveloped by a thick fog. However, recently, strange events have awakened the fear of the residents. Red balloons were seen floating through the city at dawn. Mirrors reflected a grotesque silhouette that wasn't there, and a distorted circus music could be heard in the quietest early mornings. A group of young people, Alex, the fearless leader, Mia, the skeptic, Ethan, the curious intellectual, and Claire, the sensitive one with a dark past, decide to investigate the place after hearing rumors that Crimson Jack had been seen. Each carried secrets they preferred to bury, but curiosity and the promise of adventure drove them to explore the abandoned circus. In a room covered in ashes and filled with the remnants of burned objects, they found a box of old documents. Among them were newspaper clippings that spoke of mysterious disappearances of children who frequented the circus. One of the clippings suggested that Jack was involved in dark rituals to maintain his youth and charisma, using fear as a catalyst. The articles described disturbing details. During the darkest nights, Jack was seen in the center of the empty ring, tracing arcane symbols on the ground with a red liquid that many believed to be blood. Witnesses reported hearing whispers in unknown languages emanating from the site, and some even claimed that spectral figures danced in circles around him while he chanted hypnotic incantations. These rituals, it seemed, were conducted with the intention of capturing the collective fear of the audience, channeling this energy to prolong his vitality and reinforce his supernatural dominion over the circus. With Jack now fully materializing, his cracked face, inhuman smile, and incandescent eyes dominating the environment, the youngsters need to make a decision. What does he really want from them? Is it possible to defeat him, or is he an immortal force fed by fear and suffering? As Jack approaches, his laughter echoing like the sound of 1,000 voices, the group feels the crushing weight of terror. But they also realize that confronting their own fears is the only key to escape. Alex, paralyzed by the trauma of his accident, revisits the crucial moment and finds the strength to forgive himself, transforming guilt into courage. Claire faces the image of the one she lost and, in an act of reconciliation with her past, whispers words of goodbye. Mia, challenging her disbelief, confronts a distorted version of herself, recognizing that her skepticism was a shield against her insecurities. Ethan, finally, overcomes his feeling of insignificance by accepting that his intelligence and empathy are his true strengths. Each character, by facing and accepting their truths, weakens Jack's dominion, whose figure begins to crack like a mask disintegrating under the light of a beacon. However, the price of overcoming is high, and the line between victory and sacrifice becomes increasingly thin. The abandoned circus returned to silence, but the survivors were marked forever. Alex, now stronger, found a purpose in helping others overcome their traumas. Claire finally allowed herself to live without carrying the weight of guilt. Mia, once a skeptic, became a storyteller, relaying the truths that no one dares to admit. Ethan dedicated his life to preserving memories and hidden secrets, ensuring that the past would not be forgotten. Still, the circus grounds remained as a dark reminder. On foggy nights, some swear they hear echoes of distorted laughter, and red balloons still appear mysteriously. Perhaps Crimson Jack has not completely disappeared, or perhaps, somewhere, he is waiting for a new show. Did you enjoy this dark and mysterious story? Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more terrifying narratives like this. Share this video with your brave friends and comment below. What would be your strategy to escape the cursed circus? Until the next story, and remember, not everything that shines is safe, especially in the darkness.